As I mention every time, guys, if you are new to the channel and it's the first time you're watching one of the Gracepoint reactions, just a pre-warning that this does have spoilers for all of Broadchurch, all the plots and any differences there are between the two shows. So be warned, there are spoilers throughout for season 1, 2 and 3 of Broadchurch in this episode and throughout the rest of the series. So if you haven't seen Broadchurch and you don't want to hear any spoilers, feel free to turn it off now, but otherwise, if you guys enjoyed the video, let's get straight into it. Mark Solano is currently suspect number 1. Well, not for me, because I've seen Broadchurch, but, you know, for the show. She's crying.
Annie?
Oh, this is that flashback, right? Wait, hold on. Did we get this flashback last time? He was crying. And then Mark's crying. But the thing is, why though? Is that story slightly different? I've always theorized that potentially the whole motive behind the killing would be different. So therefore the story up to it could be very different too.
Thought strong coffee, lots of sugar might help.
You see, she got him a coffee. Any thank you? Nope.
Do you have kids?
Oh.
Why? Their manners must suck.
Oh. Well, that's right. Does he still have the daughter in this
So we
series?
think this is where
like the one
Daniel's
daughter?
killed?
Have you been missing boats lately?
Because that's the thing. And they're going to follow the track of that guy, right?
The boat would leave no
Psychic
tracks.
or whatever guy.
Rowed onto the shore.
Very inspiring.
Don't do that to me again. You want to run things around here, then run them. You are
Yeah,
such a...
he's still quite... I can
Just
think of any word
stop
she was about to call him just then.
calling me Miller.
Son,
Mala.
she's an appropriate adult with him. Not you, obviously. Relative, maybe.
There's a scene when, in Broadchurch when Joe and Tom go and talk to the police, and it's like, you're starting to think that Tom's dodgy, and like all along, he's sitting there, and I haven't rewatched Broadchurch, by the way, guys, so this is like I'm rewatching it. I'm so curious to watch these scenes now, to see, because I don't say if it's him, but if it is him, this is going to be crazy just to watch. I'm biased thinking it is him, right? And what was I saying? There's another thing that I do find quite gutting is that, like, we're not really going to get Alex's, like, arc of being, like, quite heartless, or appearing to be quite heartless, and then seeing him with his daughter, and seeing how he acts around her, and then seeing, like, this change, and sort of, you sort of view him completely differently. We're not going to see that with the show, are we?
You were with a friend.
Yeah.
But yesterday, you couldn't remember
And
the
he's just
name
made a
of
fake
that friend.
alibi.
Vince,
It's a fake alibi.
who I work with.
I
you
don't
can
think...
remember
Was
the
that the
name of
alibi in the
man
last
you
one as
worked with all
well?
day.
Oh, that's right, and then they
It's
go
just
and
been a
ask
terrible
Vince's
time.
grandmother or something. Yeah.
Maybe it was shock. Maybe I don't know.
Uh-huh. And they
So
find
you're
out
right,
he's
she checked
still
the
lying.
Do you have any idea what it would do to that family, to this town, if it turns out to be Mark?
What are you looking for, Miller? An easy answer?
See, straight into it. Gosh almighty. I have to say that I much prefer Ellie's portrayal of Olivia Colman's portrayal of Ellie. And I think they're starting to really cement that now.
Where was Mark?
Oh.
He was out.
And she doesn't know.
Back.
I don't know. I was asleep.
Dude, you know how horrible that must be
That's
to
what
feel
he
to be
said.
like
You don't know
suspected
before.
by your family. Imagine that. Isn't there blood there?
Blood.
Oh, that's the boat. Why do I feel like this series has gone so much quicker in the first few episodes? Did we figure out that boat thing that quickly for a third episode?
May we come in?
Better not. Dog doesn't like strangers.
Skateboard.
Moms and dads are all staring.
I always got a weird vibe as why she actually took the skateboard, you know, like
You ought to find who
why?
you... A pipe's never burst up there.
When did you last clean the place?
Oh
10 days ago.
shoot.
Who else has keys?
Park service, me. That's it.
So that was a
How does
lie
it
by
possibly
Mark. He
crime
never
scene?
repaired anything
Is
there.
it?
What were you doing till 1?
He's lying.
Told you, just, you know, eating, drinking.
Chatting. And then talking to the grandma and she'll say that he was there,
Some
right?
sports bar over in Albion.
Wonder, hold on a second. I wonder what the fines are for lying about an alibi. Because surely it's perverting the course of justice. So surely you'd be fined quite a bit of money if you were to be like caught, like, you know, lying about where you were.
Your mom said that you were here with her.
Oh,
Thursday.
rip.
Mark. She says that
Unlucky.
you went out to the pharmacy.
She says no pipe burst. You weren't there.
Well, she's lying.
Or maybe...
But she's not,
two.
though.
Your alibi. Your buddy Vince is having some trouble figuring out where he was Thursday night.
I was with him.
Don't do this, all right? Your son has been killed. We took a look at your boat.
It's blood.
There are bloodstains in it.
Danny's.
Dude.
Took the boat out a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. It was Danny's blood.
You don't remember how many fish you caught 2 weeks ago? You can't remember where you were Thursday night?
It's because everything I say gets twisted. I can't even think straight
All
when
right,
I'm...
Mark Solano, I'm arresting you for obstruction of a murder investigation.
Please.
Enough! Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Okay, so at this point in time, Mark is, well, prime suspect, guys. He's being looked into big time by Alex specifically, who doesn't trust him. I mean, he's lying about everything, and it's evident that he's lying about everything, so it makes sense that they look into him. Now that I look back at this, I was sort of thinking, I was happy that Alec was drilling it, because I was like, oh my god, this is suspicious. He needs to be, you know, looked into. He can't just get away with lying. And I remember thinking to Ellie, like, Ellie, you need to be less trusting, which is true. It was always true. She needed to be a little bit less trusting. There needed to be an in the middle. That's why they work so well together, because that in the middle with Alec and Ellie was perfect. But yeah, now they're investigating him fully, and he looks more suspicious. He's been arrested under suspicion, and then obviously that then brings in the whole family situation, the crumbling there, and then they have the arguments, and it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And from memory, it's not for a long time until we even get a singular happy scene from this point in time. Like, it's 95% of the series is pretty dire. The happier scenes actually come later on, which is unfortunate because we're not going to get any later on. But yeah, at this point, I think what I was theorizing that I think I may have theorized that he was having an affair because of the way he was like looking at his wife in the window, but I'm not completely sure. Like, I remember feeling like he was dodgy and he needed to be looked into. And I didn't like him. At the start of the season, I did not like Mark. I didn't like him at all in Broadchurch. I mean, that's one of the craziest things, because across the sort of cross Broadchurch, I got immediate changes. Like, it was like, Mark, dislike, and then something happened, and I think it was when we found out about the affair and you saw how much it was breaking him, my viewpoint on him completely twisted. And then it became like, I feel bad for him. I have empathy for him, and I can understand where he's coming from. As of right now, I don't even have any new theories either. Like, that's the thing. I could spend the next however many hours and hours of watching this theorizing about how it could be different, and it could be only different in a very minor way. Like, it could be different in, like, why it was done. There could still be the same killer, same everything. Like, so far it's pretty similar. But I was talking to some of the comments, and they sort of said that, like, the first few episodes are basically a mirror image, and then it sort of diverts at, like, episode 6 or something like that. So I am expecting it to change quite a bit. Even the killer, like, I'm kind of hoping that they change who did it, simply because, like, I want to see how they could have taken this differently, you know? And as of right now, I think if I'm to put all of this aside, right, I actually think I get a weird vibe from Paul, you know? Like, if I was to put all bias aside and think about who am I suspecting, who sort of hit under the radar, it's Paul.
Okay, I'll meet you outside.
Yeah.
Did we get a whole money issue with him?
Around? I'm a reporter with a Globe.
And he's like, go away.
Hold on. I just want to ask you a couple of
I got
questions.
nothing to say to you.
It can be pretty manipulative though, eh? How people like that work.
418 Malasmina Drive. This has been a hot topic.
And he's considering posting that ridiculous thing, right? Or does that already happened?
About 3 weeks
Let
ago.
Tom speak.
Sorry.
About 3 weeks ago.
Oh, this is the scene that I want to
I
watch.
saw him the day before we left.
Whoa. Let me just say this that I've noticed about the show. I'm almost certain that this scene didn't happen until like episode like 6 or 7 in Broadchurch. Like, it was late on, because there was a scene when they go, what size shoes are you, Tom? What size shoes are you? And then he's like a 7 or something, and he's like confused, and then he looks at Joe and he goes, how about you, Joe? And he goes, a 10. Why? And then like, but we already knew by that point that there was a size 10 footprints found. But the thing is like, in this one, they've sort of said the footprints, you can't tell whose they are. You can see younger kids' ones, but then other than that, like, it just looks like every other dog walker. Is that more realistic in a way? I think that may potentially be more realistic, because like, there could be heaps of people's footsteps up there, especially if people hike or travel, or it's a rental. It's going to have loads and loads of shoe sizes, right? Unless they find a footprint on the beach, but they've already said it washes away. So maybe that is more realistic. Maybe that's why they're doing it slightly differently. Maybe there were a lot of plot holes in Broadchurch that they are covering up. Because I guess that shoe thing doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Like, they found his footprint, and they're like, size 10. That could be anyone's that's walking up there. Why does it have to be Joe's, you know? It could be literally anybody. Bloody hell, I kind of can't wait to get to episode 6, you know, or whichever episode it diverges and you sort of think it feels all new. That, I can't wait to get to that point, because it currently feels like I'm rewatching them. I am struggling to figure out what to say to you guys, but I can't just obviously upload the episode, it's just, that's illegal.
Did you argue?
No.
That was a lie, right?
Can you think if anyone would want to hurt Danny?
Unless that is one of the other things that they change.
How do you get along with his dad?
Oh, that reminds me.
Absolutely confidential.
Can I just say one thing, guys? You know what I will say? I did have one theory in Broadchurch before it got to the end. Like, I kind of thought that it was Joe, and I said, this was before I predicted that it was Joe, and I'd said, what if? Because it felt like it was something that happened out of, like, you know, reaction, and the whole cover-up felt kind of weird. Like, it felt like it didn't really make any sense. It felt very empathetic. It didn't feel horrible. Like, whoever covered it up didn't feel like the person who'd killed him. I remember thinking, because it was strangulation at that point, you think it's got to be some sort of, it's got to be partly malicious, right? This is fitting almost perfectly with the other theory that I had. Tom, or I think his name's Tommy in this, was the one that actually did something. And his father, Joe, is the one that covered it up. That was one of my theories, that, like, it was Tom that did something, and I think it was when we first started finding out they had arguments, and I was like, I think potentially Joe covered it up, or someone close to him covered it up that knew what they were doing. Because there's no way a little boy is going to be able to do that, you know? I don't know, you know.
He said his dad hit him.
Okay, so that's very similar, so Mark hit him.
Then he said his dad got in some bad mood sometimes.
Oh, dude. I always got to be careful watching him.
How'd it go?
Imagine it's just Joe. I feel like,
really
will I be a bit
brave.
disappointed? I don't know.
Your new boss is a charmer.
I really don't like him.
See? Oh. Yeah, I still don't trust Joe, guys. I'm sorry. Even though I'm trying to go in this with a blank slate, like, I'm watching him extra carefully, and his behavior just looks a bit weird.
Do you mind if I... They want you to know Mark has been arrested.
Arrested?
See?
What for?
He won't account for his movements the night before Danny was found.
I never know when you're joking.
I'm never joking.
Listen, I went through all the records.
Oh, isn't that right?
No more stress, no pressure, no unnecessary exertion.
Can't.
You have to, at least until after you take care of it.
I'm annoyed that we're not going to get to explore this
Not yet.
much more. Like, well, obviously we
Evan,
will.
this is a bomb in your system, and you are kicking at it harder and
Yeah,
harder.
see, the
You
bomb.
wanted my advice, you need to stop.
We'll definitely
If you don't, your
explore
body
this, but,
will.
like,
When I'm
not
done
the
here.
solution
And when's
to
that?
it.
I don't know.
But the Lord is close by his side. I understand the impulse to seek comfort wherever you can find it.
Exactly, but it's not there. See? Oh, they're definitely exploring that. Oh, and that's messaging, what's his face, isn't it? So is that how it comes out, or what?
I'm under instructions to come in. Oh, the cocaine. Listen,
Oh.
could it wait another time? It's not about that.
That's right,
No one
that's
else
right.
can know. On Thursday night, Mark Solano was with me.
Having sex. I know.
That's right, that's how it came out.
Not the best decision.
And then Beth loses it with her. Loses it. But that's after the court, though, so I don't even know if we'll get that this episode.
He says he was on a boat. And he says,
Yeah.
don't look for who killed him. Because he knew this person well.
See? It's gonna be Joe again, isn't it? They're not really gonna change the killer, are they? Unless it is...
That's all.
Unless it is the vicar, but... Don't want you to be upset, which means it has to be
48
super
hours,
close to her
Doc,
as well.
because you were
I
worried
don't know,
about
man.
gossip.
I don't
No,
know.
not gossip.
I thought more of you.
Exactly. You watch my other theory be right about the kid.
I do too.
Yes? Did you kill him?
Ooh.
Did you kill Danny?
That's why he just needs to say it. I know that there would be consequences, but like, you did it, so there should be consequences, you know? And off he goes. There's also a scene when she follows him and sees him with Becca, right?
Come here.
Yeah, see? What did I say? Exactly.
We're finding this now? In the sweatshirt he died in? Whose number is this?
I don't know. I brought
You
it
what-
by two.
You ought to be Ellie's husband,
You
right?
should be.
Please just show us. Don't just not show us. I knew it was gonna end. God damn it. Okay guys, that is the end of that episode, and basically like the whole episode you sort of suspect Mark Latimer. I remember feeling this way, like I remember really not liking him in Broadchurch when I was watching it, thinking like it has to be him, like he has to have something to do with something, right? That's how I felt about that, about his situation. But obviously his alibi checks out, he's ended up having an affair. That all is exactly the same as Broadchurch. We still are sort of replicating those episodes, basically word for word. You know, there's a lot of things that are really, really similar. There are very few deviations, obviously, and like I said, I think I've been told that it does deviate quite significantly in episode 6 or 7 or something like that, so I'm excited for that. But as for this episode and everything that's happened, like I said, Mark's situation is now resolved, but then right at the end of that episode, we sort of get a phone number, and then obviously Emmett's putting it into the system, trying to figure out who it is. Now the question is, whoever's phone number that is, I can't actually remember if we had that same situation. Honestly, I can't remember if we had that same situation, but I do know that he was calling Joe Miller in Broadchurch. He'd been calling Joe Miller, and it was like organising, meeting up again and again and again and again, and it was when he was away, and Joe bought him a phone or something like that, and it was Joe's number, right? Now the question is, are they going to follow that same path, or is this going to be completely different? Now, one thing I will say about this series compared to Broadchurch is it feels quicker. I can't remember what episode in Broadchurch it was that we found out that Mark was having an affair with you-know-who. But for some reason, I don't think it was episode 3. I mean, it may have been, but we've all basically sort of resolved Mark's story already. I mean, maybe it was episode 3, because there were only, 8 episodes in Broadchurch, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, maybe I'm just like, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it was about this time, guys, and maybe we were sort of starting to investigate, or finishing investigating Mark at this point. I think the only other thing I want to talk about, guys, being is like, once again, it's one of those episodes which I've already seen on Broadchurch, so I don't really have a lot to say, is a theory that I did have in Broadchurch that I've already sort of said in this reaction, but I will sort of say again now for most of you, is that I started to think in Broadchurch, like, potentially the death was, or whoever covered it up isn't the one that did it. But then I sort of deviated from that theory when I started thinking about the way he died and the strangulation. But this one's different. This one, he was hit over the head. He had blunt force trauma, guys. But I think it was just one hit done. I'm not completely sure. Now, my theory I'm sort of bringing back into this is potentially whoever covered it up isn't the one that did it again. And I actually think that it could be, well, it could be that. Joe Miller, right? If we keep that sort of same situation. Joe Miller covers up the death basically because his son made a mistake, or his son did something that he shouldn't have, and that because his son was acting so dodgy in the other Broadchurch. You always think like it's kind of weird, like it's overly dodgy for what he did. So now I'm starting to think maybe he did something. Maybe he did something, or maybe him and Danny had an argument because they keep mentioning that. Maybe something like that happens. I don't know. Rings his dad. Boom. Something's just happened. Or maybe his dad's already there. I'm not completely sure. His dad helps him cover it up. That is one of the theories that I did have in Broadchurch, which I thought would have been kind of cool, you know, to sort of have that sort of dynamic. And that's why it was kept so quiet, you know. That's why Joe didn't say anything. Or when he did say, or when they sort of found out, like they could have had this scene when it was like, it was your son, wasn't it? And he just still refuses to say anything. Even at the expense of himself. He was probably prepared to go to prison himself for doing it to protect his son. I think I've seen that in another show somewhere. I can't remember where, but like that would have been such a cool plot line to sort of explore, and they potentially could in this series. But yeah, anyway guys, I think I'm going to leave that there. Not a lot to say. Again, I feel like there won't be a lot to say until we do get to that sort of diverging point. If you enjoyed this video, as ever, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for new content every single week. And don't forget to follow my Instagram, guys, British Chat with 2 P's, link in the description below. And of course, let me know down below what you thought of this episode. What do you think of Gracepoint in general without any spoilers in comparison to Broadchurch, guys? So, as ever, this is your boy British Chat. Thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one.
I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh.